The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey everybody, CamiBaker.com here with the Happiness Jungle TV show. Super excited to be happy in the jungle today with our lovely guest. This is actually the second appearance for Miss Deanna, and that says a lot when you get to be on the Happiness Jungle a second time. High five.
High five.
High five. And today we're going to delve a little bit more into your business, and because of that, we have an awesome co-guest, Miss Nancy, who is a client of yours. I will let you take it from here and share with us a little bit about why is Miss Nancy here and what is this all about?
Yes, well, thank you, first of all, so much, Cami. I just love being around you. I love your energy, and I love the inspiration that you are to everyone, and that's what I aspire to be. And with Vesta, it was wonderful being on your show a couple of months ago talking about Vesta, and when you invited me to be on again, I said, absolutely. And thought it would be wonderful to bring my lovely and smart, talented friend, Nancy Selig, to be on the show with me because, so I'm the founder of Vesta, which is redefining divorce and provides people with the education and connection and empowerment to help them navigate divorce with confidence so that they can take that challenging time in their life and come out the other side with the ability to have a whole new life for themselves and to be the person that they always wanted to be. And we've been doing these programs for 5 years now. And one of the very first programs that we did was a divorce boot camp, and it was about 5 years ago when the lovely Nancy came as an attendee. And I'll let you speak more, but Nancy and I have become friends through all of this, and she is the epitome of the types of people that we love coming to Vesta. So they're people who, whether they're either contemplating divorce, actually going through it, or afterwards, as Nancy was, and still looking for connection and services that can really help make her life better. She's somebody who's really used Vesta and our resources in a comprehensive, holistic way and has made her life better.
I love that we are going to be able to hear straight from someone who's experienced it, because it's so easy to talk about theory and what would you do with a client, who's your perfect client, but to actually have one is great. So from a personal branding and marketing perspective that I have, first of all, Nancy, how did you find them? Like, were you looking? Were you referred? How did that all come about?
No, I was not looking at all. In fact, one of my girlfriends had heard of Vesta and asked me to go with her to a meeting. And it was a snowy night, and I said, oh, do I have to? And I went kicking and screaming, and it was like this. And so finally, we got to the meeting, and I sat there just awestruck. I said, why didn't I hear about this before? What have I been missing? This is a gold mine of information. I was totally in awe of what I was learning, because all that information that I got that night was something that I should have had prior to starting my divorce. And whoever thinks you're going to get divorced, so who even studies up on what you need to know before you get divorced? So this was just an incredible education on everything I needed to know before I got divorced, but then actually all the information was extremely helpful for post-divorce as well. So everything I learned that night was very, very helpful and helped me actually move forward in my life post-divorce.
Well, and not only do we not think we're going to get divorced, but then we also wouldn't think to look for help. I mean, people say, hey, I'm going to get a divorce, I need an attorney, let's go to court. You don't think about all the other ways that you can actually make it easier and smoother. So talk to me about what happened at that event.
Well, when I was getting divorced, I actually interviewed 20 different lawyers, people that were recommended to me through friends and relatives, which was a total bust because I went through 3 different lawyers. But that night, Bob Vollmer spoke about finance. Samantha spoke about, financials and post-divorce. This lovely woman right here spoke about Vesta and all the programs that were available. Another person spoke about real estate. And it was just eye-opening to me about what you should know about your own financial standing before you get divorced, what assets you should be aware of, and how they should be divided post and prior to divorce. And also, in terms of real estate, do you sell your house before you get divorced? Do you sell it after divorce? Should you keep it if you have custody of your children? So it was just so eye-opening to me about what I should be doing.
So Nancy, I've always wanted to be a host, especially a show that has the word happiness in it. I love what you're saying about how Vesta helped you. And I also, you've just been an incredible person for testimonials for us. I know we had, soon after that, we had this huge, what we called a divorce cruise. We had a harbor cruise on Boston that had 150 people on it. And you talked about how Vesta helped you. And I was just so impressed with what you said and how it's helped you. So what else would you say about it and how it's helped you along your journey?
Well, you have to look at divorce. Divorce is not just like a little piece or segment of your life. Divorce really is a whole pie of your life. And the one thing about Vesta is that it serves 360 degrees of your life. There's not one part that Vesta does not touch. And I think that's what's so remarkable about Vesta, because you can go in and you can get financial help. You can go in and you can get just support on parenting and your emotional support. You can get real estate help. You can get help on your credit and mortgage. You can get help on styling and hair cutting, especially if you're going back into the job market. There's a job coach and how to present yourself, how to do your resume, how to really, put yourself out there once you have to start working again after being out of the workforce for so many years. And it's just really a total accumulation of wonderful, talented people who are truly vested in making you a success after divorce or while you're going through a divorce. Because divorce may be a little bleep, or my divorce, it was a major bleep in my life. But with Vesta behind you and beside you, it was a major stepping stone that helped me and empowered me to find a better life afterwards. So, there may have been all that complaining and crying and not eating and all of that, but it just was a way for me to see to the other end and get to the other side much faster than I would have.
Yeah, and I love how you mention all the different areas that we have. And we always say that if we have something that you need and we don't have it, we will go out and find it. Because we have some amazing connections. And there really is something for everyone. And one of the things that's special to my heart are also some of the social events that we have, and especially the retreats. And I know that you've attended quite a few retreats. And you actually wrote this amazing blog on 5 reasons. You might have added some reasons to attend a divorce retreat. So maybe talk about the retreats that you've attended and how those were for you.
Well, first of all, I'm probably the last person in the world who would ever attend a retreat or a social event. I'm a much happier person staying at home and reading a book. But, I tend to say, Nancy, you've got to go out and just experience life after your divorce. And I went, and the people were just wonderful and marvelous, and people just want to go and enjoy themselves. It doesn't matter if you're divorced or not. I mean, these people just happen to be divorced, but everyone is there to have a good time, to support each other, to listen to each other, and just really, want to socialize and be together. They're tired of being isolated, and they really want to go out and have a great time. And plus, you're learning. There's always something new to learn, or even something new to listen to, or hear, or dance to, or whatever. So there's always something wonderful to do with Vesta.
Like, how many events have you come to? And so many people come to so many events, and they say that they learn something new every single time. And that's why they keep coming back.
Right. And one of the best things about Vesta is that nobody is overselling you. there are lawyers there, and they really listen to what your problems are, and they really want to better understand and better help you come to an agreement or come to a conclusion. Nobody oversells. Nobody is there to sell
they're not-
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
know,
They're there because
They want to be
most
there.
and first of all, I love how the show is just so real, right? So there you were, had something in your throat. Are you okay?
I am better.
Are you okay?
I'm present. I'm here.
I know I just choked you up, huh?
She does. You started getting choked up, and then
The show brought tears to my eyes. I had to go cry.
you're crying. Now you're back.
I am back, and I want to get re-engaged in what we were talking about. So, I heard you talking about how they don't sell you on stuff. That is so important. You want to feel like you're being nurtured and helped and not sold.
Right.
Like they really, really care. And there's such a difference in being sold and being served.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's a really great distinction.
Right. So you're being served there. And now that I don't know why I always go in this direction, but what is post-divorce about for you as far as the dating scene?
Oh.
Boy, you're asking the wrong person. Well, I have dated.
Okay.
I have dated quite a bit, and I just have not found the right person yet. But I've found that I'm very active in a lot of things that I do, and I have a lot of great friends, and dating just will come naturally. I'm just very consumed by my children right now, getting them into college, getting their first apartments. My parents, you were part of the sandwich generation, and unfortunately, my mother just passed away, and we were taking care of her. And so there are all these other things that come into life, and you just have to make do, and when the time is right, the time will be right. But you still have this great energy, and divorce isn't weighing you down forever post-divorce. You got through it, and now there's a whole other life afterwards, and that's one thing that Vesta has done so perfectly and so wonderfully.
Well, that's the thing. It's about being reinventing, recreating yourself.
It's a renaissance.
And a renaissance, beautiful word. And it's not necessarily about dating. That's just where my mind goes. But it's also about just finding who you are and living into it and doing your passion. So what is your passion now?
Oh, I have so many. Well, I love to swim. I swim a mile every day.
Every morning.
I do yoga. I used to own an advertising agency back when my children were small, and prior to my divorce. And now I'm getting back into writing and creating and helping new companies launch themselves, and doing a lot of branding as well for these companies. Getting a lot into social media and things like that. So I'm trying to start my own little business once again. And
well, let's let you have a plug about your business. Talk about that. What kind of avatar? Who's your perfect client?
My perfect client is probably a startup that has maybe about 4 or 5 people that are part of it at this point. Don't really have a brand quite yet, but know what they want to do, know what they want to be. They have some idea of what their product is going to be, and they really are at that cusp of, we're going to go to market like within the next 6 or 7 months, and we need a name, we need a look, we need a vision, we need a message, and so that's where I come in. I develop the name, I develop the messaging, we develop the website, we develop all that background stuff that they need in order to launch.
That's impressive.
So we're a great launching company for new businesses and startups, and we also help older companies reestablish themselves.
And what's the name of your business?
It's called Brand Excellent. And it's brandexlnt.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
So back to Vesta. Tell us a little bit about who is your perfect client. Who are they?
Yeah, so it's people, well, it's like Nancy, right? It's men and women, and generally probably in their 30s and up. We have people come to our events who are in their 60s, 70s, and anywhere in that range. But it's really people who are looking to get through divorce or reestablish themselves post-divorce and live their best life, and who are looking for support and guidance and to be part of a community. So it's really people who aren't looking to just like blame and point the finger, but to really look at themselves as being empowered and what can they do to create the best life that they can for themselves and for their children.
I love that distinction that it's about being with a group of like-minded people who are going through a very similar situation, but are looking to be empowered.
Right.
And not just get together and have a bitch
Yeah.
session. Or,
Right. And I think
Absolutely
part of empowered is just being educated. Because when I first started looking for a lawyer, I wasn't sure of what to look for. I mean,
hard to
why
know.
would I ever need a lawyer? And so you start, you know, going to where your friends recommend. But if you really knew what you needed to know, you would have a much better sense of what kind of lawyer you really needed, whether you needed a mediator or a lawyer or whatever, and, you know, ways to drive down the cost of your divorce. And that's where Vesta has been so wonderful in helping people.
Awesome. Deanna, keep telling them a little bit about your company. Because I got to jump off set again for a moment before I lose my...
So, yeah, the company is called Vesta Redefining Divorce. And you can find our website at www.vesta, V-E-S-T-A, divorce.com. And on there you will find, you can go to the events page and find all of our upcoming events. And on the calendar, you can actually click on the event and you can register for events. And as you know, Nancy, most of our events are free. So they're either all free or low cost. We do have some events like our retreats, which we do charge for, and it's really to cover the cost of accommodations and the meals. The professionals donate their time to be at all of the events, and they love what they do. And it's really to give people the easiest access that they have, because as women who have been through divorce, we both know that it can be really expensive, and you don't know what your finances are going to look like. And when you do have an attorney, you know, and you're having conversations or meetings and the clock's ticking, it makes you kind of wary about what other costs am I going to have? And, you know, we were discussing on the way here about having our events so people really know how warm and welcoming they are. They're really inviting. So many people are nervous about coming. Once they come, they all say to me that they're so glad that they did. And you were talking about like the selling part. People thought, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of professionals looking to sell to me. And that's not the case at all. They all say that. Like that's what they were expecting. And it was really just people there to help them and to guide them. And people really value that. Because when you are going through something like that, and you may have a job, and you may have children, and you may have a social life, or whatever other the various things you're looking to manage, to go off and to try to find the resources on your own, and to go to this place one day and then somewhere else the next day. You can come to one place and have it all there for you. It's the perfect thing.
Right.
And a safe place, and with people who get it. Because one thing I talked about on the show that I was on with Cami in June was that people, the professionals in our group, all or almost all have had some personal experience with divorce. So they've either been divorced themselves or they're a child to divorce. In my case, I've had both things happen. And both of my grandparents, both sets of grandparents were divorced. My parents divorced when I was 5. I divorced when my kids were 4 and 6, and I saw this as this repeating pattern and really knew that there had to be a better way. And the professionals in our group feel the same way, that they were personally affected by it. And when people come to our events and they meet with us, they can tell that we have a passion for it, and that we understand what they're going through, and they look at us and they see that that's what they can have when they come out the other side.
You know, it's so important to be with people that have empathy and just know what you're going through. I mean, even for myself, just as an entrepreneur, you know, a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we're all alone, we're working from home, we're working from Starbucks or whatever. Feel like we're on our entrepreneurship sailing alone. And so to be able to get together with 10, 15, 20, 100, 1,000 entrepreneurs and have that energy of collective mind is so important. So I can only imagine, especially in this, because we're supercharged and we're emotional about what we're doing. But I mean, divorce is so emotional.
Right.
And to have that, that nucleus of people that are right there with you. Yeah. So you're doing some singles gatherings too, things like that?
Well, we don't have singles gatherings. What we have we do have some dating events. I know the wonderful Susan Trotter was on your show the other week talking about her business, and she helps, and you're talking about dating earlier today too. And I also heard Kat's interview and talking about the first thing is to really look within yourself and to really find whole happiness and completeness within yourself and not to be searching for it outside, and to really look within into the part that you played in whatever happened with the breakup of a relationship, and to get that complete. And then once you do, so somebody can certainly add to your happiness, right? So you find the happiness within, someone else can add to your happiness. And there's all kinds of ways to go about it. And with Susan, we do have some events where she will show people the right way to go about online dating, because there is a right and a wrong way. I also love what you said. I started doing formed my own meetup groups about 5 years ago. Meetup groups helped me tremendously through my divorce. It helped me rebuild a career. There's networking aspects. I found some purely social things. And I found groups that had single parents so that we connected that way. And the kids also saw that there were other children that had those types of families and that they could go on to build happy lives for themselves. And there's also things so meetup groups that I joined were skiing and wine tasting and things like that, where you can meet people where you have similar interests. So our get-togethers aren't for people to find someone to date, but we do have social events where people can find other people who are going through or have been through what they're going through, and they feel they're not alone. They make new connections, they make new friendships, and there could be a romance that blossoms from that, of course, as with anything.
So do you think that this is a movement, a shift in energy on the planet of people that are saying, you know what, divorce happens, stuff happens, but I'm going to make it through? Like, there's a whole shift of people being supportive in this realm. Is this a new business?
Yes, well, it is growing. We have done a lot of research and have seen that there's no one out there doing exactly what we're doing that really brings the whole comprehensive support together, and that has also the social side and the divorce retreats that we have. What we're doing right now is we're in the process of looking to expand nationally. I have people all the time, as I'm becoming more well-versed in social media, I have people, even from my past, I won't say how long ago it was, but from when I was in high school, who found me and reached out. I went to high school in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and have found me and have seen what the business that we're building. And everyone, whether they're in New York City or whether they're in Alabama or Mississippi, they're like, I wish we had these. We wish we had this where we are. And we're like, well, we're going to get there. We are expanding so that this will be available to everyone.
So when is that going to happen?
We're in talks right now, and so national expansion is going to happen soon, within the next 6 months, the next year.
Are you looking for partners in different areas?
We have some potential partners, and we're in talks right now. But yes, we're looking for amazing professionals in different areas where we can show them how we run our retreats and the different programs.
I would think that you could do this on a national level anyway, meaning if there are people in other parts of the country that are watching us right now, you could partner with real estate agents and attorneys, et cetera, that go through a vetting process to be part of Vesta.
Absolutely.
So that you can put people, have you done something like that?
Well, we're putting together a formal, or we have put together a formal vetting process for professionals, because it is really important that the professionals who are part of Vesta, as we said, one of the main things we look for, well, their expertise, of course, so they have to be really good at what they do, but they also have to have a heart, but to really, so you can tell that they care, that they have compassion, and also, if they do have experience with divorce themselves, that's a plus, because that has the whole relatability factor. And we have to know what their why is. Like I have, as you know, a very strong why. That's what's driven me all these years. Knowing that what I'm doing is the right thing. And people have to be able to see your why.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many of your professionals can do it anywhere in the country. In other words, you have a fashionista on staff.
Yeah, we have a couple amazing fashionistas.
Yeah.
As you know, one of them, Lisa Malmgren.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you'll need a local real estate person, for example, but you do have people that could do stuff on Zoom and things like that too.
Right. There's certain categories, like with Susan, for example, dating coach, divorce coaching. There's certain category, parent coaching, where they can work with people from, technology is amazing nowadays. I know we have our Zoom calls, and it's like we're there in person, so it's wonderful.
And you can actually take your show on the road. You could take Susan Trotter and Lisa Malmgren and so many others and go around and just do a dog and pony show and get people involved. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some resources people can tap into right now? Any kind of books, any videos, gurus, other people that you would suggest, people that are just now trying to figure out what are they going to do?
So people go to our website, vestadivorce.com. We do have a resources page, and it has books and articles, and we do have a blog section that has useful tips. And for me personally, what's helped me a lot is motivational, inspirational books, Brene Brown, and there's just so many I can't even think of right now, but have just really helped me to empower me and to be my best self and to really realize that life is what we make of it, right? And when you're empowered and you know that happiness comes from within, and what happens in your life is really all up to you. Things are going to happen to you. You can't control, but you can control how you are in reaction to that and what you're going to set in place for your life.
Absolutely. And looking at this as a way to recreate, reinvent, restart. Redefine, all great words. Renaissance. I love that. It's not the end, it is the beginning.
It's the beginning.
It is.
That could be your tagline, Vesta. It's not the end, it is the beginning. Well, I'm so glad to have you on, and now you can add to your portfolio of things that you've done, that you've hosted a TV show.
Right? Oh, right.
And she did a great job.
And she did a great job and went with the flow, and I so appreciate that.
I love what you get to do, and what you do is so wonderful.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Thank you for being on, and thank you for being a part of the Happiness Jungle today. We are happy in the jungle.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.